Okay, we got the lottery tree, that's out of the way. And I'm gonna run this by you guys, I can't mention any names right now, but there is a HR director that was brought to my attention. I interviewed him, he has 20+ years experience, labor relations, personnel issues, risk management, contract negotiations with several bargaining units. Discuss pay, 401k pension, wants to work another 78 years, work for a large municipality.
Was that 78 or 7 to 8?
7 to 8.
That was
20?
So,
So Lou's last day is like December 25th or
I
something?
think you said December 10th, didn't you?
yeah, it's like you said, yeah, it's December something. I'd ask him, he's not here today, he's having a stress test, so. Okay, so, a couple people's names that I know came up during the interview, I talked to both of them spoke very highly of this individual, so. After talking to him, I'm very comfortable with him, but I said, do you still think we want to post it and interview people?
Probably wouldn't hurt.
You've always been real open with these things, and you do not have to be, but you always have been, so I think just, sorry to waste your time, but just in keeping with
Yep.
past practice.
Okay.
That might be a good idea, just so there's no appearance of some kind of back room, good buddy, even though it's just somebody you just met, that might appear that you're.
Instant.
Well, I got his name written down somewhere because I can't remember it, so. But like I said, again, like I said, the HR position, I talked to a person that's local here, I talked to her a while back, and she said, no, I retired for a reason. She retired, went back part-time, and then retired again, and she was not interested, so. But, so yeah, we will post, I'll get a hold of Arlene tomorrow, get it posted. Conduct interviews, post-budget, pre-year end, so get that done. Okay. Next up, I had Shelley send you that, the need for small cells meeting consumer demand, enabling innovation material. Okay, this is a hot topic right now, depends on who you talk to. Bloomfield Township spent over $100,000 on attorney fees, researching this and stuff. And the general consensus is, there's two ways of looking at it. One, they're gonna take away the right-of-ways and stuff, but there's laws in place. There's state laws in place where they just can't come in and take over. They're probably asking for more than what they should get. I don't know if you guys read up on any of this. We had a meeting last week, Pat Kittle from Independence, Chris Barnett from Morian, State Rep Jim Tedder, and two people from AT&T. And what they're saying, with the way things are, eventually the franchise fees are gonna go down because there's gonna be fewer customers, and there's fewer customers. But if you look at your cable bill, the franchise fees are on your cable bill. The customers pay that. And then the cable company throws a little bit more money in, and those are the franchise fees that go out to the municipalities, that's how that works. Well, if you got fewer people paying in, you're gonna have less money to pay out, obviously. And as time goes on with streaming and wireless, you know, cable's it's gonna go off from what it is, you know, so it's gonna go down. So that said, it's gonna be a gradual decline, it's not gonna be, you're getting 1.4 million this year, you're not getting anything next year. Gary Ellis has done a lot of work with it, a lot of research. Like I said, Rio Savoy, Bloomfield Township, that was a topic at our OCADS meeting. No, actually the Big 20 Township meeting the other day. That's what we talked about that. So again, it's just like I said, it's gonna change. But again, it's the control, what kind of control of the right of ways. And if that were the case, if you were to come along and say, well, we're gonna give cable companies precedent in the right of ways, well, guess who's gonna follow? Phone companies, low voltage companies,
What do you mean,
electricity,
give them precedence?
gas.
Give them exemptions, you mean?
Yes.
Give them exemptions.
Yeah, you
So this doesn't, and I'm sorry, I haven't read this,
Okay.
but this small cells isn't necessarily giving up our control of the rights of way, is it?
Well,
It's just
again, like,
something new
they've
going
been in
on.
several municipalities and set poles with any permits, and he misdigged that, they went right down Crescent Lake Road.
Yeah.
Right here in Waterford Township, and set poles, they didn't call them misdig, they didn't mark nothing, they didn't do anything, they just came in and did what they wanted to do.
But that was
the
a
school district
violation.
did that. The
That
school
was a
district did
violation.
that.
Permit though when they get it,
What's that?
they get a permit. They didn't get a
I don't
permit,
know.
they violated.
Would that something that would be required for a permit,
What's that?
to put those poles in?
In the right of way, and see now, it's, the road commission is very, very involved in that, okay?
Okay,
And, you know, they control the right of ways, but technically the municipalities own the right of ways, okay? We have water and sewer means in the right of ways, okay? Look at what is our biggest tax generator in the water charter township of Waterford. Utility companies paying for taxes for the right of ways, and that's where we get our biggest tax revenue from. So, again, it's just,
so it's not, you couldn't like issue them a code violation because they didn't pull a permit, because it's kind of a gray area?
anytime you go after people like that with that much money, they're gonna kill you in attorney fees, and they know that right.
Well, it's just
They
pulling,
know.
it's just pulling a permit, is it
I
required?
understand
I know,
that.
but is it required, so it's a gray, we don't know.
Again, the permitting process is a lot of gray area there, so I don't know for sure. But like I said, we came into work on a Monday morning, they set utility poles down Crescent Lake Road. And I got out of my truck and walked over, and there was no flags laying on the ground, there was no paint. I know our DPW people paint and post flags both. Because as kids riding by or walking by pull the flags, the grass is still painted
Right.
to tell you there's a water main there. You know, and then utility companies, you know, consumers, Edison, phone, cable, and the underground utilities, they got them marked.
So they
different
kind of
colors,
have,
different
so they
prices.
kind of have control now.
Not yet, but what they want to control it. They don't have to pay any fees. They don't have to pay the fees that we collect revenues from, the taxes. It's in the road commission, like I said, I'm trying to think, there was a guy in the road commission, I mean, he couldn't stay up to see it, but it'd be.
Eric Wilson?
Yeah, Eric was there, yeah. And he couldn't
So
stay, but-
these small cells are taking the place of the towers, like our water tower with all the antennas
Yeah.
on it, and the
Yes.
towers around town with all the antennas on it. Now,
Yeah.
instead of those big central
Next
things,
page, picture
it
right there.
is this small thing on, probably closer together.
They're closer
and
together.
Running down streets, less visible.
Okay, and then you said, and then they can't be within, I think the fiber, they wanted to change it within 10 feet of each other, now they want to change it where they can be within 5 feet of each other, and put them on the same pole, and compete against each other, and to be smaller, you know, smaller antennas, if you want to call them, or
Yeah.
cells themselves, and they're going to be closer together, like roughly about every 200 feet. Use existing utility poles, but I think Detroit Edison and the phone companies, or excuse me, DTE, I'm aging myself, and the phone companies own the utility poles. So that being said, you know, are they gonna allow them to put them on their note, then they gotta set their own poles. And they went right over in front of the church in Andersonville Road, and set a pole and put one up over there over a weekend with nobody knowing about it.
Yeah, when they do it on the
India,
weekend,
not
then,
the
you know,
lights.
they know what they're
On
doing.
the streets.
But again, like I said, they're gonna be hitting gas mains, they're gonna be hitting electric lines, they're gonna hit phone lines, you know, they're gonna do this, do that. Hopefully water and sewer are deep enough, they won't hit any of that and screw it up, but at the same time, if we've got a main break or something where one of them's at, we gotta go in, and you gotta support the pole, you gotta bring in a crane to hold it in place while you dig around and undermine to dig out, do the repair, and backfill it, and it's a lot of extra cost for the municipalities, so there's gotta be some, but that's it, there's the helter-skelter of all, they're trying to get everything, they're trying to rush into it, just, so there's a
Do you know
lot
what
of.
it's going for final vote?
Yeah, lame duck after the election.
Oh,
They're gonna vote on it before the end of the year, so that tells you right there. People are concerned about the outcome of it, so,
Yeah.
and as Gary Allison said, it's gonna pass. But again, it doesn't take away everything as it's been, you know, you've heard one extreme to the other, and it's somewhere in between, but nobody's got, you know, all Jim Tedder can share with us is, you know, right here, the latest what we've got, so.
So it does say here, they're gonna, they hope to standardize permit process. So the permit's not going out the door.
Right.
It may be less than what
right across the board. They hope to standardize it, but the fear is in the meantime, while you're working on that, they're gonna move in like they've done and just start setting poles and
Yeah.
doing as they please, so.
Go back after them once those are in and tell them to pay for the permits, even though they're hard to put in.
They are, because again, like I said, my concern is they're not getting hold of this dig mark stuff.
Yeah.
And tearing stuff up, you know, how many people lose gas service coming in this time of year when you need heat,
I think they
you know,
better.
well, why did they invent this dig? Because everybody running the machine knew better, but they didn't, you know what I'm saying? So that's how this dig came into, you know, people just, wow, there can't be anything here. Hydrants are that side of the road there, utilities, there's a phone box or a electric box there, so when they side of the road, they start digging and sparks fly and smell gas and so.
So I've never heard this word before, zettabyte. We've gone past gigabyte and all those others where whatever zettabyte is.
Yeah.
It's higher than a gigabyte.
Yeah, 1 gigabyte is the equivalent of a cup of coffee. 1 zettabyte is the equivalent of a Great Wall of China. There's a
Wow,
substantial difference.
Yeah.
And they were talking about, you know, when it first came out, yeah, it's gonna be like a refrigerator hanging on the
Mhm.
25 cubic feet.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be this and that and the other thing, and the vast majority of the towers that they put up are, or the antennas are very, very
You see
small.
a dishes down your street.
Well, this, it really doesn't look any bigger than those transformers or whatever that are on
Yeah.
so many poles.
Right.
So it may not be, I just don't,
But
I don't like people, don't wanna think we're gonna lose control of the right of way.
Right.
That's the thing. Every 200 feet, they have one of these dinky little things.
Well, could you set a limit?
All they
They
can.
can't, we have no controls, so they can, what they do.
No, like I said.
So there's a certain requirement. If it's every 200 feet for the
That's-
system to work, it's
right.
gonna be every 200 feet.
And they're gonna
End
be
of
able to
story.
use existing poles, and the height of the poles, you know, 40 to 60 feet, your difference, right? So nothing is, you know, it's really helter-skelter right now, so it's just trying to get, so there'll be more to come on that, and as information comes in, I'll forward and share it with you guys.
So it does sound like there does seem to need to be some framework for this, if it's just helter-skelter right now. They don't have to pull a permit, they can come in on a Saturday.
Well, I would say they don't have to put, but they've been doing some, but
There's
two
no
instances I can
recourse.
think of.
So,
Oh, there's always recourse. We could just go chop the poles.
it's true, they just put it in, we can just take it
Set
out.
it on
Yeah,
fire.
poles come up, poles come down. So, but anyways, that's where we're at with that, and again, it's just, like I said, it changes daily. I said Jim Tedder gave us the information he had, and then he sent an email over the weekend that they, you know, they've decided against this, they're trying to negotiate and work together on it, it's not necessarily having the best of luck, so that's where that's at. Like I said, as it comes in, I'll keep you guys in the loop, but, they said they're gonna vote on it lame duck after the election, and that's,
Did Tedder give any indication
and
how?
people leaving office, will be voting, so
Did Tedder give any indication how he was leaning on this?
he's voting in favor, that's why, you know, right? But again, like I said, he shared information with us and AT&T, and like I said, AT&T came in, they just explained, like I said, the reduction's gonna come naturally from the loss of customers. But then again, okay, but still, you're getting wireless, okay, but you got the wireless small cells up. You got customers using that or even putting it up, so I mean, you're gonna regain, you know, some franchise fees or some utility right-of-way fees there. But that's what they don't wanna pay, so, you know, so. See how it goes there. It's always something. Okay, Allison Swanson, our Parks and Recreation Director, sent me this letter the other day. It says, Gary, here is the phone information regarding the rec center we spoke about earlier this week. Mike IT gave me this breakdown, and it would mean there will be a monthly phone fee for the 2 lines used by the Waterford Youth Assistance. They currently don't pay for their phone service. Please advise how we should proceed, okay? What this is, the phone system over there is in bad shape. The phone system needs to be replaced. They're dropping calls aren't coming through, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Typical of everything in the building, but but they're gonna have to do a temporary, it said the system would be put in place temporarily for 12 months until the entire township phone system is replaced. Police, fire, DPW, town hall, library, you know, rec center, everywhere in the township, we're gonna get a new phone system. It's gonna be, I mean, I think it's 23 or 24 years old, it's dated. It's older than my flip phone, you know what I'm saying? So what we gotta do here, so for 12 months, we're gonna have to pay for this temporary lines here, and that comes out to be $48.45, well, $88.35 for the two phones lines per month, okay? And what she's looking at, okay, and it's Water for Youth Assistance, so we give them in-kind office space over there. And we also give them, I think, $7,500 a year because of what their tax status is. Like the Water for Coalition for Youth, we can't because they're a different tax status than, you know, tax exempt status than the Water for Youth Assistance is. So we give them $7,500 a year plus, and we give them space over there at the Water for Rec Center. So that said, you want to continue waiving this or have them pay for the temporary phone use?
Let me ask a question. There's two phone lines coming in specifically for youth assistance? Or is it one for Parks and Rec and one for youth assistance? And youth assistance line is 48.45.
Well, it's like I said, it's the way I read it here, they have two lines over there. Let's see, one line comes in, see and then you've got the VoIP channel as additional, and your email and fax line. Then you got a fax line and a phone line, so they got two lines.
Okay. But aren't Parks and Recs lines also suffering the same
Right,
quandary?
right.
And it's additional lines above and beyond?
Parks
this?
and Rec has their budget to pay their way.
Yeah, right.
So
It's
this is
additional
just
above
youth
these two
assistance.
lines that we're talking about.
Right.
This is strictly youth assistance.
That's youth assistance line.
Okay, thank you.
Question?
We typically don't do Q and A at these meetings. We want the Q and A to be the regular meetings.
Well, this pertains to this.
Okay.
Fax line can be through internet protocol, but the other line, voice lines can be done through internet.
I'm not a phone expert, so I'm not gonna say.
So that would
I'm a
save money
professional
there.
phone expert, so I'm getting the information that's been furnished for me from the phone company, what the charges are gonna be, so.
Well, yeah,
that's what
they want you to pay that fee.
It's a temporary phone system we have to pay for until our new phone system comes in, so. Like you said, things are screwed up over there, it doesn't work, they're dropping calls, they're not getting calls, they're not getting their voicemails, et cetera, so again.
How many months?
Well, 12 months, I figured, be about a year before we get, they figure us be late next fall before we get our new phone system in township wide. Could be a little before, but they're erring on the side of caution, giving us a full year, so.
So we're looking at under $600 for the year.
Two lines, right? So it's
Yep.
more than that.
I thought it was
48 a line?
48 line, 83.
88.35.
88.35.
Oh, okay.
From
It's
90.
48.45, 88, yeah.
650.
That'd be 96.90, this is 88.35.
No, grand.
So now we're close to,
Yeah.
12 times
No,
8, 12 times 8 is 96, that's a grand, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
12 times 9, something, yeah, 1,080. We run the grand, so.
Maybe Parks and Rec.
I would presume that, I presume Allison probably talked to IT and to see if there was anything they might be able to suggest.
yeah, that was done.
Yeah.
Knowing
IT
Allison,
and-
as little as I do from, from the
Got the
Hess
break-
Athlete thing,
got the
she
break
would
up
look
on the
into
phone,
that, I'm sure.
right, yeah.
People still get faxes, I mean, I thought faxes.
Well, yeah, I
Yeah,
still
they
get
Yep.
faxes too.
They fax stuff over to the county.
I received a fax today, in fact.
Yeah.
So it does.
So we sent a fax, you know.
A whole bunch of AV voter apps are coming in on the fax line, so yeah, it's not the,
Go-to, but.
yeah, right, there's always those flip phone.
It's no
types
modern
that use.
technology. So.
Well, you know,
When
the
does-
township is limited, it's not supposed to be donating money to nonprofits. This tax status of the youth assistance enables us to do that.
Right.
But maybe we need half of it, what we're already doing. Another $1,000, it's not like we've got it, it's not like
Right.
it's laying around.
Or it comes out of the 7,500 that we're already donating to them.
Okay.
Gary, when does this have to, when do you have to have an answer to Allison? Is it-
Yeah, yeah.
Well, the phones aren't working now.
Yeah, I know, I,
Call her and see if she answers.
Yeah.
Well, they're gonna put the temporary
people
phone
must be getting
system
work done.
regardless.
You could just say we called and she didn't get
It's
it.
just, are we gonna charge them or are we not gonna charge them?
Yeah, that's it, so it has to go, he said, but it is not working right now.
I guess because I was asking, I'd like to talk to Grant to see exactly where they are with their budget, because I know they're struggling over there.
Yeah. Well, who is,
I'm just saying all
Yeah, we
nonprofits
all
are
are.
struggling.
If you wanna take a vote, I say let's give it to them, but just me.
What are we doing the phone system with? Who are we doing the phone system with?
David picked the, provided,
picked.
they had 8 different companies bid on it.
Okay.
And they narrowed it down to 3. But I haven't heard that they picked who they're gonna do it with.
Okay, I was gonna say, if we had picked one, we might ask them, hey,
You know,
we got a situation, can you help us out with it for a year?
big business doesn't make money giving stuff away,
No,
I
I
can tell you that right now. So,
Neither does small business.
that's why they stay small,
Or
give
so.
stuff away.
Just a thought.
Yeah, like I said, there comes a point in time, like I said, is it enough? Should we give them another $1,000, you know, whatever?
Yeah.
But Tony said they're on a tight budget, Waterford Township's on a tight budget too, I mean, it's a kind of an across the board thing, so. But, I will talk to Garrett and see what the particulars are on it, or even talk to Mike today, I either want to talk to him, see what the particulars are on it, see if there's any room, you know. $1,000, we give 500, they give
I was
500.
just gonna say that, yeah, maybe we just
Yeah,
split it with them.
See what we come up with, and otherwise the phone company might throw in a third, I mean, who knows, see what we can make happen, so. And then we have a special board meeting coming up, so I will go over that with you guys and let you know, so.
So the reason we had to do a special board meeting is we have to hold a public hearing under Public Act 210. And a public hearing requires 10-day notice, unlike our board meetings where we can do it within 18 hours. And there was like a 4-hour window. If I had known it had to be 10 days, there was 4 hours where it could have happened, that it could be on tonight, but I wasn't aware of it until it was too late. So we solved the problem by doing a special meeting. As long as the paperwork is turned in by the 31st, nothing is lost by this slight delay. So after the board meeting on May 30th, I'm just gonna go upstairs, I've got an email address, I will put the packet in an email. I don't have any fax number, I'll fax it to them. But I'll email it to them, and when they come in the morning on the 31st, it'll be in their queue waiting for them. And I'll have them send proof that it was there timely,
Yep.
so.
Ari had sent the email the night before when we got it the next morning that put that he acquired the parcel on the corner and the green belt along Telegraph Road. That's all closed out now. Yeah, that's all done. So, but we got it the next morning, like I said, we were like 9 days before this meeting, so it had to be a 10-day window, so. Again, like I said,
That's real close.
gotta be in by the first, like you said, we can, as soon as they're at night, can send the information over, clarify it the next morning, and it's good, they're all set. We've met the qualifications, like I said, that's for the whole, that's everything, you know, and I'm assuming when it's all said and done, that the way I saw it, those green belts, even though Ramco versions and still held rights to them, there was never a split done, that's all falls under the same tax ID number. The parcel on the corner where the old gas station used to be, yes, but everything else was still under the same number. So that probably could have been quiet title, but nobody ever did it with it, and Ari just wanted to get it straightened out and make it go away. So as far as a lot combination, they won't have to do that because it's still under the same parcel ID number. I think they may take the old cinema property and do that. If they do, then they're gonna have to create a new tax ID number for the whole the whole thing. And then they're also talking about that 1 1/3 acre split off the east end of the Kia dealership. There's an acre and a third, the 1.3 acres there, they're talking about, you know, the previous owner wants to own that, but again, that's not, and then they also talked about where the mall property goes in, it indents to Sears and comes back out, where, you know, the mall, you know, gave that property to Sears. Sears gave that property to the mall originally, so they would hook up the mall there in 1987 or 88 when they did it. So they had that, so that's, they're talking about maybe taking that back to a straight line again, you know, and giving that to Sears property.
Gary Sears, did that, I already sold it to DTE, or is that gonna be his?
No, he will sell it to DTE, but I don't know
He
if the
hasn't
sale
sold
is
his-
consummated yet.
I didn't know if he was building in the suit DTE.
I don't believe a company that DTE side would lease anything, they're gonna own it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's interesting about this Public Act 210, because it's waiving tax revenue on anything built from the base they're paying now to whatever they build it up to. That new stuff will not be taxed for whatever period of time we agree on, 1 year to 10 years. So as a result, we have to send notice of a public hearing to all the taxing units who collect taxes on our properties. So the zoo, the metro
Library.
parks, the
School
DIA,
district.
all the school, you
Oakland
know,
County.
OCC, because they will lose their revenue on that. If we approve this Public Act 210, they are frozen at today's rate.
Oh, really? Okay.
For whatever period of time we deem also. So they have to have an opportunity to come and
So you
speak.
gotta notify them of the
So
public
that,
hearing?
yeah, that had to go out, so that went out immediately, we sent it out certified, so we have proof that we sent it to them. But, that was.
We've approved this before, the Public Act 210.
P 210 in
Yes,
2013.
to establish the district, we've
District.
never had a.
We've never given it to
customer
anybody.
Never
come in
anybody
and
apply
apply
for it.
Okay, that's the
Yeah.
difference.
See, we never had anybody own the property before, people talked about it, but if you don't own it, you can't apply for it.
Right.
Remember Motown Sports, they wanted PA 210, it was, okay,
How could I
buy the
forget
property,
that?
then close the deal, and we can talk about it, but until then, we're just wasting breath. We're gonna need later in life to breathe, so. But you just look at, like I said, that district down there, we tried to make it attractive, 240 acres,
Yeah,
west, north, Sam's Club, Longhammer, Summit Place Mall, that whole area in there, maybe even in that, because that way, you know, somebody came in and wanted to do something, you could offer them, and again, it's up to
Right.
10 years, RA will ask for 10 years.
mhm,
And I thought originally it might be one of those things you could do in increments, like, you know, give them the first 6 years, and then, you know, 7th year, 20, 8, 40, 9, 60, 10, and then the 11th year, pay 100%. You can't do that, it's either one or the other, there is no.
okay.
So what is it
Transition period.
exactly? Is it all revenues?
So, right now, they're paying taxes on a taxable value of,
Property
I don't
value,
know.
property tax.
73,000 or whatever it is.
See,
do you know the taxable value of the mall?
it's either just under or just over $3 million.
Okay, so $3 million. So Ari will come in and he'll build things, and he'll add $200,000 of value for a number, I don't know. So now, the property's worth $203 million, but he, for 10 years, will be taxed only on a taxable value of $3 million. This 200 improvements will not be taxed, the improvements won't be taxed. It'll be frozen at today's rate for 10 years.
But
Up to 10 years.
any revenue that's made, and also employees?
Well, we're
all
just talking
different.
about property
No, no,
taxes.
no,
this is
We're only
property tax.
property tax. Yeah.
And they need to
And
send it.
what he's doing with that money is improving the
That's
property.
right,
That's
right.
of course why this is here. He's gonna improve the infrastructure, he's gonna be part of improving the roads. So that money that we're not charging him, he's putting into the property and making it more
But it's
valuable.
gonna
We're
stimulate
trying to
new
attract-
business in the area that will not be
Yeah.
seeking public act.
Right.
Right,
So.
it's a district, it's a commercial rehabilitation district, so we made that whole area down there, you know, that's.
So maybe somebody will take Don Pablo's and do something with it.
Well, they could, but the Public Act 210 was enacted basically to attract developers that come in,
Right.
basically say, hey, come here, build in our township, we'll give you a tax break, we'll help you guys out.
But isn't Ari basically, he's gonna be building to suit and leasing the building back to.
Well, we don't know.
That's his,
don't know if
that's
he's
that's
doing
what
that
he told
reason
me,
to
that's
get
his
it.
intention.
Investors, I imagine he'll have partners.
Or maybe he'll do the same thing he's doing with Sears, he'll find somebody who wants to buy the property and he'll help him develop it.
Yeah.
And at the end, he's out of it, he's made his money and he's moved on to another project.
I think Sears, he's gonna sell it to DT and they're gonna develop it themselves. They're gonna do the development.
Right,
That
right.
could be.
That's how he makes his money, He buys and rolls and turns it over, buys and turns it over, buys.
But he's marketing his product.
Right, he is.
He's marketing it, going to be marketing it.
And you tear down the mall, now you got a 73-acre vacant piece of real estate, not, has an albatross and there needs to be demolished.
So if you kind of think about this property, for almost 10 years, it has been an albatross around Waterford's neck, an albatross.
What's
So-
it cost us in the last 10 years, anything?
Sure,
tax
attorney
revenue.
fees up the wazoo, yes. So maybe 10 years isn't an unreasonable thing for him to ask for.
Code
10
enforcement
years, it's
complaints,
been-
police complaints,
Yeah,
fire
attorney's
alarms,
fees.
you know.
Yeah.
It's been a nightmare, it just has.
So 10 years bad, maybe 10 years good. But at the end of 10 years, we're fully, it'll be a wonderful property.
Tax revenue, you know what, it's just gonna be a domino effect in our area. And I can speak from my own experience, I'm down 30% since this place has been closed. You know, Sears is gonna bring 200 new jobs right from the beginning. And they're talking, I already said, well, 2,000 jobs, maybe one
Yeah,
said
that's what it says
that
on
in his
that.
memo there, or in that memo there, so 2,000 jobs in that area would be huge. You know, and I know he wants to put some outlets along Telegraph. You know, what type of restaurants, who knows? I thought Sean Rayburn, he probably wants to do an outlet at that Kia dealership, that's what he wants, the acre.
He doesn't own it right now, does he, Sean?
No, no. Well, it never got, it's strictly speculative, it never got surveyed because the surveying company hadn't been paid for the previous work, so they weren't doing more work on it until they got paid in full.
So when the period of time is over, the taxable value is the current value of the property?
Yeah,
Yeah.
whatever. it's-
Whatever that might be.
They'll continue showing on their tax bill
Right.
what the assessed value is every year if it
So
increases.
he might put
So
maybe
year 11,
$500,000 into it, making the value $3.5 million, and in 10 years, it could be worth $4 million, and we could tax it again. It could go down, and it could be worth $3 million, and we tax it at
Well,
that
he's
level.
putting more than $500,000.
No, I'm sure he is. I'm sure he
an
is.
easy number to digest is what he was giving.
Yeah, I'm just, you know,
500,000.
I
yeah.
have no problem digesting $1 million. I'm okay.
Sears is not doing any public
That's all,
That's
that's all.
It's all-
DT,
That's
that's all,
gonna be
that
the
that
whole
whole
district.
district.
That whole area.
Summit West,
Boundaries.
Summit North,
It goes kind of from Pontiac Lake Road to Elizabeth Lake Road,
Yeah.
Telegraph to Marion, maybe.
Has he been granted that for that piece of property, the Sears property, at this point?
That's what.
what's that? They have to apply for it.
Okay, so he hasn't applied for the Sears.
So that's part of
It's a
it.
district,
So he's
they
doing
have
the whole
to, every
thing.
property owner has to apply
Okay.
for it.
Property is part of the 30th meeting as well.
That's what we're gonna be voting on.
Yep.
Discussing, that's what the public hearing
From
don't.
what I read, though, I think it's the gas station, it's the cinema, it's the Sears.
It's the whole district over there.
Right.
But it's
Well, the whole
probably not gonna
district
take it
qualifies
before
for
Different
this.
parcel ID,
But it
yeah.
is 327, write
Right.
this down, 327 North Telegraph, 201 North Telegraph, 330 Summit Drive, and 205 North Telegraph. Is 327 Sears? Does anybody know?
I don't know.
Is that the old
Is that the
cinema?
television?
I think since the cinema is Summit Drive.
Yeah, that's 327 Summit Drive is the old cinema, I think. I'd have to look at it and see.
But you can look for yourself with those addresses, you can see exactly.
See, originally when, and again, when push came to shove last October, when we ordered the demolition of the mall, and that's when Sean Raybar started racking up the attorney fees, you know what I'm saying? I won't put any money to demolish the mall, but I'll pay an attorney, but he knows we have to pay an attorney too to defend ourselves. And again, like I said, it just, you look at these things and they just, you push and they push back, and attorneys, and then it went to circuit court, and the circuit court denied our demolition order. And I can't believe you can be a judge sitting on a bench in the Oakland County Circuit Court. I don't care if you live in Independence Township and go away from the mall to leave there. Sooner or later, you gotta drive by there, a kitty corner across the street from your place of business and see what a nightmare that place is, and they dismiss the demolition order, so.
327 North Telegraph looks like the Dunkin' Donuts.
The Dunkin' Donuts, there isn't a separate parcel for that. But I'm saying it's not a separate parcel, it's such, they never did parcel it off.
That's part of the law.
That's part of the mall, you know. Yeah, there's a gas station on the corner, the cinema property, the mall property.
Sears.
I thought the mall was 3 parcels.
Is
I
the
think
mall
it
3
is.
parcels or 4?
And Sears was
Oh.
one. I could be wrong.
Yeah, no, Kia's a separate parcel, Kia's a separate parcel too,
Kia,
you know.
the theater, the mall,
What was it,
the
theater
corner
and
there, that's 4.
Yeah, but I think with Kia's its own separate entity, it's not incorporated in the sale, that's.
No, I'm just
Is
talking about
Ari
the
on
parcel.
Summit Drive now?
No, that's half and half.
Everybody that abuts Summit Drive owns it.
So.
Summit
Highway
North
Department.
and,
Yeah,
and, you
yeah.
know, they're owners on that. So.
But with Ari on this project, he's gonna make sure that road gets fixed.
Well, if you're gonna demolish the mall and demolish Sears, it's stupid to put any money in the road till the demolition's
Sure.
done.
Oh, right.
And the heavy construction traffic's
Right.
done. I mean, that's just, you know, good money after bad is all that is. So it just, and then, at that point in time, hopes that we can sit down with Oakland County, make it a public road. If you're gonna rebuild a road, rebuild it to county road specs and make it a public road. You know, because it's a public road right now. People come
It's a
through
private
there.
road.
It's
Oh, it's used
used
as a
like a
public,
public
yeah.
road, yeah, it's a private road, both are private roads, but
Yeah,
sit down there someday, and I did a 1-hour traffic count.
I'm one of them.
It's-
I do occasionally.
Yeah.
I know every pothole there is.
It's funny that it's a public, private road, the road commission plows it in the wintertime.
And the road commission uses it to travel.
Oh, yeah.
The
'cause
road
they're right
commission
there.
plows that road? Then
Absolutely.
who is, then who is, I'm at to talk to Cadre about that, because Cadre tells me he has to plow the road, so.
Whatever.
Yeah,
I've seen, road commission trucks going down there.
Which makes
I
sense.
see
that
that.
they use
They
it as
still
a
owe money
cut
for the
road.
traffic
Yeah.
signal.
Yeah,
That's
they're
why
the
they
profit.
do
Stop.
Yeah.
it. It's working the way it works. Road commission won't go over there because either Cadre or Sean, Rayburn owes money.
well, everybody, Long
They all
Hammer,
owe money.
they all owe money,
Long
Oakland
Hammer too.
schools, the apartments,
Right,
everything,
for
they
the
all owe
traffic
money.
light over there.
You know, when that road got cut off the Pontiac Lake Road, it should have been a public road right then.
Absolutely.
You know, I mean, the road built in 1962 or 63 was built to county road specs back then, but it's not modern day county road specs, so you can do a reconstruct on the road, do a reconstruction, rebuild the base, you got the millings right there to pack, do engineer's hook, and pack it on there, build your base, and put a new road in. That curbing and gutters and storm drains and stuff there are all going away anyway, so I think that now's the time to do it, be done with it, so. Okay, that was the things I had on my list for discussion, top subject, so. KJ, anything new and exciting?
No, not at the moment.
No? How about you, Margaret?
No.
Nothing? Sue?
So I don't know if you've driven by the bike rack and the bench on the little concrete pad on Crescent Lake Road is there.
See that?
Yeah, the bench and the bike rack, and then that blue tape that's on the concrete is the location of the phone booth. So, of course, the phone booth won't be done for a while, but
Should probably wait till spring.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's gonna wait till spring. But one side of the phone booth is constructed. So,
Great. It's gonna be painted red though.
yeah, it'll be red, just like those British phone booths are.
Let's see
And-
that.
Oh, okay.
That one side. Oh, yeah, there it is, you know.
Yeah, he made the center 11 inches square, so an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper will fit in there for notices about longest breakfast table or whatever. You don't have to-
Yeah.
That was good,
And
thank
there'll be
you.
a door and you go in and post the
Yeah, the door will actually be on the back, it'll be the solid wood side.
Right.
Um,
I'm sure I did something, took something.
You're trying to send my son out.
I'm
Yes,
not- Sorry about that.
3 sides will look just like that, and the back wall will be solid.
Yeah, and the back wall will be where the door is, just for simplicity's
Yeah,
sake.
yeah, I didn't touch nothing.
on the inside,
So-
so the back might.
I swear to grandchildren, I didn't touch nothing.
All right,
just
didn't go
moved
that
it.
far.
Are the doors supposed to be locked downstairs?
Doors? After 5 o'clock?
Well, it's, I don't
Not
think
for-
so
not
when
for-
there's a.
not during a meeting.
What doors?
The main doors down on the first floor?
No, they're supposed to be open, you had a board meeting tonight.
Yeah, I know, they're not.
Okay.
So,
That's what we need.
yeah, it will be kinda cool. And
And
we,
we
sh-
saved rent too, huh?
yeah, and.
They might be locked because the parking lot's not usable, as I found out when I tried to use it tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
It's
is there a
completely closed.
sign?
Yeah,
There's
it's-
something
it's
on-
all taped off
Doors.
and sealed there,
It's
yeah.
in plural.
Do you wanna see this, Steve? Yeah.
Um,
No, don't touch nothing, though.
What do you want, my finger?
I got their numbers in, I don't have their numbers.
Oh, well,
Who,
Very
who
cool.
do you wanna call?
Yeah, I saw it, it's nice.
Terrence,
So
call
there's
Terrence.
be three sides like that and a door.
Lightning rod on top.
Nice,
Yeah,
Well,
and
if they
even
can't
he's
park in
doing
there,
the
why
round
would they
at
wanna
top.
walk in that entrance?
So-
yeah.
where else would they come in at though?
Rear
Rear.
parking lot?
The-
Is that unlocked?
Yeah,
That's what I
Yes.
want to find out.
Oh,
yep.
I mean, I got it, but it was before.
I don't know, he walked out here in 15 minutes or 15 seconds and knew the front doors weren't locked.
He got a call.
Oh, so they called a local veterinarian to complain about township doors
I'm
being
assuming
locked.
it's one of his friends. that was
Yeah,
trying to
somebody's
get
probably
in
trying to
because
get
it's
in.
What's that?
Somebody's probably trying to get in.
I'm sure it's
Call
one
it.
of
Hey,
his.
What time
Terrence,
is
it's
it?
Sue.
It's 15
Is
after
the
5.
front
5:15.
doors of town hall unlocked for
Yeah,
tonight's
another
meeting?
45 minutes away, right?
Yeah, maybe do the front because that's where people might be walking around to the
And
front
then-
because they're used to entering.
And the back is
Or
open
is there a
too.
sign? There's a sign.
And check the
saying
back too,
use
maybe.
the other door.
Yeah. Okay, thanks a bunch, Terrence. Bye-bye. He didn't unlock the front because the parking lot was screwed up with the first one.
That makes sense, but you know, who would want to use logic in government, you know?
But people will walk miles and come in the door they're used to, so.
Right.
Okay, thought I could park in that lot. Found out that I could.
You got it,
So,
it-
drove
you're
around
all
the point,
built today.
came out, and I go to that.
So the phone booth, what do you have besides the phone booth?
So then, we have that grant for the wayfinding signs too, and Gary's gonna help me install the posts. Maybe this weekend coming up, because the signs will be ready. And then, you know, it's directing people this far to the library, this far to the nature center, this far to Kettering and Pierce. So, and the library, so it'll bring attention to these places. That, you know, people, it's amazing how people
And the
live here.
nature stuff.
Yeah, nature
Hong
center.
Kong, 7,000 miles.
Yeah, that kind of
Yeah.
idea.
Where's it gonna be? Where are there several?
It's gonna be
Several, there'll be one by Buffalo Wild Wings, there'll be
Oh.
one by Dr.
How tall?
Raps. It'll be about 7 feet tall with multiple signs. One by Dr. Rapp, then one by the Cedar Bridge behind Planet Fitness, because a lot of people access the walk there. Then there'll be one by the Phone Bird.
And you put one up at Preston Lake Road,
Yeah,
Hatchery?
Preston Lake and Hatchery, and then one actually by the dam on Hatchery Road, which is where you can cut into the nature center. You don't have to go through that subdivision if you're on foot or on a bike, you can just cut in that back way. So it'll bring recognition to these.
How many holes do you have to dig?
Actually, only one, because those U channels like the stop signs are on.
Right.
Aaron at Eagle
No.
Graphics has a tool where you can just pound it down without mashing the top of the post. So the only one I have to dig is gonna be there in front of the fire station.
So,
because-
okay, so I was gonna say, I might be able to come out, help.
Well, Gary was gonna ask Tip and Fence if they would just come out with their drill
And just put a hole in there, yeah, I was gonna, no big.
but that's real sweet, thanks.
Oh,
Maybe you
What
can
are
help
you
me
doing
actually
it?
put the signs on the.
Usually getting dirty myself on Saturday or Sunday mornings,
Yeah.
depending on
I'll give you a
when
call
I go
once
to
I've got
church.
the signs and we can, maybe.
But I'm just saying, man, call me, you've got my number, if
I've got
you need a
you.
pair of hands, yell.
This weekend?
Maybe, everything's kinda up in the air. I don't know.
If it doesn't snow.
Gotta do it before it gets too
Yeah,
hot.
before the ground freezes, right?
Yeah.
How's the event in November looking?
Good. New software that we bought, we have to get trained on October 30th, so I was surprised to see that board meeting.
Was it the 9th, right?
Mhm.
It's a Friday night.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I wanted to do it on Monday, but auditorium's not available.
I figured that because it's not Monday.
She's,
Well,
where's it, Children's?
Children's Village
Village.
Foundation. I chair it, and we have an annual event every year. And this year we bought software to do all of our auction and check-in. And so we're getting trained on it on the 30th, at 5:30. So,
It's in a new place too.
yes, Pontiac Grand, Lafayette, so it'll be.
I know exactly where it
Yeah,
is.
from architectural standpoint, yeah. Hey, do you know it used to be a court building?
Oh, I didn't know
Yeah.
I never knew
Brooks
that.
Harrison told me he tried his first murder trial there.
Oh,
Yeah.
That makes
In his
sense based
30s.
on the inside of the building.
Yeah.
Right.
I would have never thought of that. I wondered, the first time I walked in, I wondered what they used it for.
But it's been quite busy. They're booked with events and there's four floors.
Weddings.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a
symphonies.
new, yeah, I mean, it's great to see.
Yeah, one of my daughters performed in a couple of plays there.
The what?
One of my daughters performed in a couple of plays there with Lakeland Players.
Oh, okay.
They used it for maybe 2 years.
It's
They had
a
a banquet
beautiful
there one
building,
night.
yeah.
That was catered. That was pretty neat. So it's pretty.
Are you
You're in the
class
big room.
reunions there?
We're in the room that's tiered seating, so it's
Yeah.
called the Cinderella Ballroom.
I think I know. the room.
There's a room bigger, but we didn't need that much space because we're about 200 people. But,
I went to my reception.
did
It
you
was-
use the elevators?
No.
The elevators, I don't
I've
know.
only used the stairs.
They're the old elevators, you have to open
Oh, I
them
like it.
physically.
Can you stop it like between floors and stuff?
Yeah.
You do it by hand?
The owner was gonna do that to freak me out because I was nervous about it. I'm like, no. Don't do it. But when you're, like, you push the button and you wait for it, and this is like, please wait, I'm old. So we were sitting there standing and waiting, it was like never there, and we realized it was there the whole time. Like it
So-
never beeped.
But you had to open the door.
Instead, it's like we had to physically. This is
Yep.
gonna be fun,
funny.
yeah. Being
That should be
entertainment.
fun. I'm looking forward to it.
What was the event you were at there?
We're for Children's Village Foundation. We're hosting the event this year, our annual event, November 9th, which is why I came to the EDC. We moved it to the 13th.
Okay.
So does this mean you can't come to the 30th then?
I'm trying to figure it out.
So as we have a quorum.
Okay.
Is everybody else good with the 30th?
I'm here.
Mhm.
That's Tuesday, yeah.
Tuesday night.
You can't make the 30th?
I was just telling them we got new software that we're using at the event, and that was our training. I told you I had to be out of there by 5, but it shouldn't be a problem because it was second day, and then I went to open our notes for this meeting. Do we have a meeting on the 30th?
Art?
I have nothing. Boring. I just talked about what I had. Didn't have anything to do with the township other than had to do with Karen.
That can be complicated. Don't, be careful, you're gonna spill water. You know, so-
It's all good.
Okay.
It's all good.
Steve?
Everything's hunky-dory.
Tony?
Well, we might have a buyer for McDonald's on Telegraph. We're speaking of the mall area there. Steve, Minoshi, I can't pronounce his last name.
Oh, yeah, from,
He inquired about it to me and my brother Friday. And he's calling the broker up. I think he wants to do the same type of thing he did out with that Dixie and, no, Steve, Caldeep, he's the one that his kid was killed at Cass Lake about 5-8 years ago by a snowmobile. They moved out there, but he owns that gas station, restaurant, on Dixie, right across the street from the state police, kitty corner from the state police posters at,
Yeah.
what's the name of that one that goes across there?
Grange Hall. I'm just
Grange Hall.
trying to think
Oh,
of
no.
that.
no.
It's a big
Oh,
restaurant there.
yeah.
And Steve also
What is
owns the
it?
property
Way,
across.
way out.
Yeah, but he owns that property across the street there. and he's
a
got-
whoopie bowl.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He's doing some type of amusement park or some kind of thing across the street there, but he's interested in the McDonald's, so he's inquiring, I think he wants to do
What
the
does he
same.
wanna do for
Well, I'm assuming it's gonna be the same type of gas station restaurant deal that he has out there in Holly.
Hey, has anybody gone into that speedway at Elizabeth Lake and Cass Lake Road? It's saying cafe now, and they've got umbrella tables outside, and
That's
think
what
they're
they do
there.
to all the
I
speedways.
wonder if it's a similar setup to
Yeah.
what.
It might very well be.
Well, yeah.
But the one out there in Holly, he's got food there, like not
That's
a
a
restaurant,
restaurant.
Gary.
Let's go to
It's a restaurant.
Yeah, because, yeah, whatever.
Very good food there.
Yeah.
Are you talking the restaurant next door to the gas station or just the gas station?
Well, it's a gas station restaurant.
$5
Yeah,
bill.
they're all joined together, I
The
believe.
restaurant that's right next door.
Right next door, yeah.
Is that his also?
Yes.
Because whenever Old Cats, Groveland Township hosts
Yeah.
Old Cats, that's where we go right
Called
there.
Alex's, I believe.
That's, I can't think what the name of
See,
it.
I
But he
love-
wants it to be
I'm
down,
just
I
giving
think,
to her.
the
We
gas
love
station,
hot
but, like a speedway, but a little.
That's a shell out there, isn't it?
Great hunting.
Yes,
for a bunch
it's
of
a
I
shell.
don't
shell
really-
station.
You can't
Kitty
even finish
Parsons
it live.
State Police Force there.
Yeah, that speedway there, they get rid
I
of
was
the
gonna-
instant food you come in to get on the rollers and stuff like that, they got rid of that.
Did they
Now you
really?
You order your food and they make it up for you.
So I haven't been in there since I saw those signs, I was kinda curious.
I see the sign, but I go across street to Mobile, because gas is always cheaper over there.
Really,
And the
usually
Speedway?
Mobile is higher.
I was gonna say that
$2.67 a gallon, I paid
Speedway's always the
yesterday.
cheapest speedway I know.
267?
Like gas
Paid
and
$2.63 Saturday is
Like
Yeah.
they're, but they're cheaper
Really?
than going up to Dixie.
But Dixie gas is cheaper than the 59.
Okay, I went to, yeah, the gas lake and,
My dad
oh
retired.
my God, I thought I was getting the best deal in the world. That one filled up last night.
Speedway
After
cash
my
and
dad
all,
retired, he
they last.
farmed me the
Really?
gas on the Dixie was 70
I always
cents
thought it
a
was
gallon
more.
less than it was
Oh,
on.
man, that burst my bubble, I really thought I
There
saved.
is an app
I thought I
called
saved about
Gas
$1.50,
Money.
yeah, I know.
Most
My
mobile
wife
take
uses it all the
cash.
time, but closer for me to school,
Well,
over.
we set those posts too, as soon as I'm on a work day. My weekends are
Friday,
plugged up,
like maybe
you
Friday.
know, my weekends are plugged up for the rest of the year.
What are you hunting?
No, no. I spent Saturday and Sunday cleaning up the
Why,
flower
no,
beds around the
don't, he
township.
really
so.
did a nice job on those
Did they
flower
get-
beds,
Did
didn't
they
he?
get the bags out of there at the back door yet or not?
They weren't there when I was
Okay, it was
there. I didn't see
15,
them.
15 on a leaf bags full.
No, I didn't see
Dead
them.
flowers
I filled 7
and tomato
yesterday.
plants and,
man.
I kept thinking, well, another one full and another one full. Of course, then they cut the hosses down and filled up 2 more and thinking, geez, oh, Pete's.
Yeah, you're right.
So, that's not good.
Thanks for reminding me, I have to do that on mine.
I get stuff. in
I've
my
got
house to
2
do,
pots
too.
I need to empty out too.
That's all?
I've gotta prune my hydrangeas, I'm probably too late.
Wait all night, I just drive by and run over
Did
them.
you?
Yeah.
She can
Is
sweep
there
them up
a,
and throw
um,
them in there.
I could use the
method to
dirt,
that?
actually,
Something you're
because
supposed to
it's
prune,
a hose in
something
my
you're
yard.
not supposed to prune?
Dips.
Hydrangeas?
I kind of found that part of the ground and they grow that tall in summer.
Mark
In fact,
Roberts
I cut
baking it.
one that was, had not frozen and I put it in the house yesterday.
Oh.
Little thing of water.
Yeah.
Must have been up close to the house if it didn't freeze.
It's right, yeah, it's pretty much. protected.
Yeah, the flowers here after that freeze, we had that set, they were,
I would
they
say
were
mine
done
are
the
done.
next day.
Oh, my
they were
Vinca,
done.
my Vinca fried.
They fried, done.
But I still have the salvia, salvia's blooming like crazy.
Really?
And I went for petunias, pretty close to the house, really, still.
There was 2 of the 7 tomato plants, still had quite a few tomatoes on them, but the other 5, they were done. They didn't have more than 3 or 4 tomatoes, much bigger than a marble. So we got, we broke 800 this year. I know, I can go up to 500, over 800.
Wow.
Have to see what the numbers were. And that's the ones I picked, that's not counting the ones that residents picked and employees picked. and-
Visitors
Yeah.
to town hall.
Yeah.
800.
Next
Yeah, it
year,
was a good
Gary will
deal.
grow pumpkins.
No, no pumpkins.
Yeah.
Rabbits like them, squirrels like them, and the deer like them, and bees. So, yeah, we'll do that in a weekly, we'll get them set and be done with that, so.
The Thursday event, the Elf Magic per, you,
Elf
I got
Magic.
the, do we need the ticket? I bought my ticket, I don't know where I did with it. Do they need a hard ticket or they keep me?
Yeah, I can vouch for it, I get to go early. to
I'll
have
keep
set up.
looking.
You were given one.
I know, you gave me one, yeah.
Okay. Yep. Anything else?
So 8,600 absentee ballots have been sent out, 8,600.
You were expecting
How
a
many-
huge
how many went out
numbers.
for the primary?
It's something like 5,000. So it's,
8,600 went out? Have you gotten, how many have you gotten back?
we're a little over a third back, and that's pretty good.
You expecting a big
Big
turnout this?
Presidential numbers.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's highly, it's unusual, isn't it?
People are fired up, and it's not just Michigan. I was reading in the paper
Oh, no.
that Georgia, they're getting record
Really?
numbers too. And they have early voting there,
Hmm.
you know, where they can go into the machine and vote. It's huge.
Sue, is it too late for me to get an absentee? Can I just come in and say, hey, I want to do, or can I vote right at your, over there? I think I did tomorrow instead of voting the polls in the six.
Yeah. Just takes a couple minutes. You can take the ballot home and bring it back to a special meeting if you want to take your time.
Okay.
Either way.
And I don't know if I want to stand in line this election. Usually I do, but.
We can make you permanent AV.
This year's primary
And then
election
you'll never be able to
from
stand.
2014 was up
Yeah.
59.8%. More people voted in Waterford
Really?
than they
Okay.
did in
I think I want
2014.
to just absentee vote this
59.8%.
time.
So can you
like
decide
that.
if you want to go to the polls?
Huge.
Yeah, you
That was
send
from,
me the app and
you know,
you say, I
gubernatorial,
want to go to the polls. Just don't
gubernatorial
return it.
14 to
Okay.
18.
What do they
So you
anticipate?
still, okay,
turnout?
that's
What
good.
if people do vote?
I haven't heard,
Well,
I
they
haven't
won't be able
heard
to.
numbers back, but I haven't
Well,
heard anything solid,
because
but it's to be
people
significantly
will take it
more
off
than
the
it
poll.
was
They-
People
before.
will see that I sent them a ballot, and if it isn't back, they've got to call me and say, did they bring it back today?
Okay.
We,
Wanna make
there's
sure.
real tight checks,
Okay.
real tight.
I like.
It's gonna be an interesting election this year.
Yeah, it is, it is.
Yeah.
It's gonna be very interesting. I'm so tired of seeing these commercials on TV.
They're relentless.
They're
You go to
saying-
cable, you don't know, like History Channel, they're on there too.
They're on YouTube.
Wait till you see the
Really?
amount, wait
Yes.
till you see
Yeah,
the amount of
record.
money spent.
Record of
Yeah,
Yeah,
money.
yeah, like I said,
Crazy.
this is typically off the charts, this is typically the off, this is more like a presidential
This
election.
Yeah.
is insane.
$126,000 some of these state reps have spent already on their
Well, those
campaign.
TV spots are prime.
Yeah, they are.
Those
Oh,
are
yeah.
tens of thousands of dollars.
They are, yeah,
But
they
the bad thing
are.
about, they're running the same commercials over and over again, you know, give me something a little
It's
different.
all
you know?
about repetition, it's all about
No,
repetition.
Yeah.
banging it into your
Same
head.
message.
Stay with the
over and over
message.
again.
See, if
Really?
you notice it's the same thing, they got your attention, because you're paying enough attention to notice it's the same one over
They'll
and
get
over.
my attention, because
So it
I'm
works.
not gonna vote for a few people I've seen over and over. and just-
Just 'cause you're
It's annoying.
They want to win my vote, and they're not getting it.
Yeah, there is that tipping point. It's good to good, and then all of a sudden you've had it.
Had enough of it.
Six too many, I'm mad now.
And I've already heard a lot of negative responses in the recreational marijuana candidate. They passed it last week.
It
And,
took effect last week,
Yeah.
passed a little while.
I heard nobody can buy it, it's impossible to get. There's so many people that want it, it's impossible
They
to
were
supply.
backed up at the bridge
Yeah.
coming back because they were checking everybody.
Yeah.
Checking everybody to see if
Can't
they
bring it
were
over here,
marijuana
right,
and
yeah.
Oh, coming from Canada back.
coming
here.
back home, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like candy.
I will be surprised, I won't be shocked, but I'm surprised if it doesn't pass in Michigan.
The only thing is that in Colorado, they're saying accidents have increased since the.
Well, Karen was saying
How
that
about
other
that?
insurance.
Okay, but what's the
rates are
fact?
through the roof.
In 2016,
Yes.
distracted driving fatalities
Oh,
exceeded
okay.
drunk
Okay.
driving fatalities in the United States for the first time ever.
Oh,
People on their cell phones driving a car, killing. They had one the other night. They had one right here the other night where, was it Watkins Lake Road in Dixie? Car was stopped at a red light and somebody come flying down the road 52 miles an hour, hit them right in the rear end.
Yeah.
Now, there was no way that person was paying attention what to do. They were on their phone.
Was that Sunday morning?
That was 2016 in the United States. More people were killed by distracted drivers than they were by drunk drivers. So if drunk driving's a problem, okay, let's go to work on the distracted driving too.
Oh, distracted is, I mean, it's.
Well, yeah, but if you can pop for drunk driving, I'm defending drunk drivers, you know, they pay $10,000, $15,000. Same thing for distracted driving. Take your license, the exact same consequence. You're killing people.
Drunk,
Because it's
distracted, or
stupid.
high.
You know?
Yeah.
But see, with the marijuana, again, they're gonna have to take them, I believe, I don't think they have anything they can do, they're gonna take them to the hospital for a blood draw, or have EMS do blood draws, but again, you're gonna
That'll
do
be
blood draws
fun.
to detect that.
What can I do with an employee come into my office, they're stoned, can't tell them to go home?
Yes, you can, because private industry still has the authority, they can still say you need to take a drug test, and you
Same thing,
have to be.
I was gonna do the same thing when I was teaching.
I did read that with this law.
I said,
You can't arrest them, but you say it's under our employment law,
Okay,
you
how do you
have
know
to be
they're
drug
stoned?
free. Do a
They
drug
look at their
test.
eyes, or they do.
Maybe
Well,
they're
they
doctors,
look supposed
so
to
you're,
be pretty red, they look bloodshot.
There could be a lot of
You
reasons.
reek?
That's
how I tell.
Smell like a skunk.
But how do you know they weren't riding in the car with somebody else smoking and you weren't?
Well,
Means-
then they're
means they're
high,
high
they're high anyway, so they fit the bill.
Oh, that's right, Bill Clinton got contact buzz, he didn't.
That's right, yeah.
From Hillary.
Yeah.
He didn't have sex either, so.
Willie Nelson comes
So
on
he had
and
to
says,
sex with
wasn't that you on the road? To Bill Clinton.
Did he?
Yeah,
What's that?
Willie Nelson and his special on
Oh,
the,
yeah.
yeah, and he says, didn't I see you up on that roof for his birthday celebration? Speaking to
So-
Clinton, because Clinton introduced him.
Have you heard the ads on the radio, what is it, intimate evening with Bill and Hillary, the Little Caesars Arena in April of next year, $750 per
Ticket.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my.
Wow.
I remember he
That's
was
for
at the
19,
airport and it was like a
2019.
big ticket item like that.
Is that at Little Caesars, or is that, I think that's at the Fox.
I think it's at the Fox too.
I think
A more
Michelle
intimate
Obama
setting.
was at Little Caesars.
Yeah, but I read that, no, I think I. thought
Maybe they
was-
moved it.
That's politically motivated right there, I can tell you that.
Yep.
Yep, 2019,
You know it.
yeah. Kickoff.
Gearing it up.
Who are the D's gonna run in 20? Has anybody said yet?
Joe Biden,
He's not sure
Elizabeth
yet.
Warren, Cory Booker.
Wow.
Elizabeth Warren, seriously.
Oh, yeah, very serious. Very serious. And Cory Booker, and then, you heard what happened to him yesterday or the day before.
He got popped for something there.
Yes,
Some
he was
investigation.
Sexually assaulted a man in elevator or in restroom, I can't remember.
Well, he's had a
That
soap
came
opera
forward.
during this Kavanaugh thing, so he knew he was getting ready to run for something. I mean, the way he grew up
Well, there's
Kavanaugh.
awful
was-
stuff.
Warren's, yeah, she's got her Indian ethnicity behind her.
Righto, 1%.
Not even.
Not even.
Like we all are.
American Indian?
Yup.
I see that.
She's related to Pocahontas.
Point zero,
I see that Facebook.
point zero zero
They said,
nine.
Trump was
percent.
sweetening her, and had a little smoke sick.
Well,
That's half about
There
it.
was
Well,
a
it's-
picture of Trump.
Did you see?
Warren's walking in a restaurant, Trump's at the major D desk, and she says, I have a reservation for 4. She said, no, you don't, you have no reservation.
Did you,
Now, if you do believe in the Bible,
a relative of Pocahontas
we're all related.
actually told her she should apologize.
I believe in Darwin,
Wow.
we're all
If you
related.
could, an ancestor
Well, if you believe in the Bible, God created one man, one woman.
told,
From the man he made the woman, there,
Elizabeth Warren.
yeah,
The world was
that she should
populated.
apologize. An ancestor of Pocahontas
technically, we're all related.
actually sent her a note,
Right, I saw that.
or published it somehow, or Twitter or whatever.
She's offended.
Yeah. You should apologize to the, whatever. Don't know.
Anything else interesting to talk about?
No, we ran out of that a while ago.
Interesting, entertaining.
I see
Yeah,
the breaking.
big game.
news
Ohio
over
State
there
got
on,
beat.
Dixie.
Purdue
Yeah, I know, it was even better, I guess.
Goodness, I couldn't believe how bad they got beat.
Next to the
Urban
gym
Meyer
over there,
put his hands
where the
over
building
his
had,
head. He
private
couldn't believe
volleyball.
what's
Oh,
happening.
yeah.
Can't watch.
We're on Dixie.
Just
Just below the big sub, right on Moon Lake there,
right behind,
north of that, on the east side of Dixie, right there.
What are they doing there?
right by the old marina over there.
There's a big subdivision, the gas station out in front, the
Oh,
big blue
new
building.
part.
and
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Drayton Pools used to be there.
Yep.
Yeah,
What are they doing?
well, they're building a volleyball,
A
private
volleyball.
volleyball.
the Entertainment place, yeah.
This couple's
Indoor
got
sport.
a lot of money and
I
they're
thought
building for
that
the
was there
break.
though.
Well, they
I
came
thought
in front of
were
planning commission.
A while ago.
They're starting to break
They're
ground.
starting to,
now.
okay.
Yep.
You see, the Elks Club is for sale.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's supposed to be
Yep.
so.
Good. Don't you remember I ran that by you
Yeah.
guys? See if you wanted to buy it.
Not this week.
For $1.
They've been looking at that Howard Johnson's on Dixie. I think that's a big mistake.
Howard Johnson's.
Yeah, the old Howard Johnson's.
It's a counseling center now.
Oh, the old restaurant?
Yeah.
Oh, I
The old
know that used to be a
Elks Club's
hotel.
looking at it.
Was it? Wow.
Basically turning it into a bar.
Wow, that's a small place. That was Larry Russell's old office,
Yeah.
The thing is, they have no mortgage over there in that property that they're selling. Just
I don't think
they
they have much
pay
of a membership
taxes,
anymore.
they pay taxes, don't they, Margaret? That was
Does
cool.
the
Yeah.
Elks pay?
Yes.
Yeah.
They're not a
Yeah.
charitable.
Yeah, there was a thing a while back where they wanted
I-
exemptions,
They want tax
but
exemption,
no,
no.
they paid property
Okay.
tax.
Yeah.
That's a shame to
They
see
exist
them
off revenue.
leave that place, because it's a beautiful piece of property.
It is a pretty piece
17
of
acres.
property. Is that zone commercial, I assume?
They still have 17 acres there?
that-
Well,
I
yeah,
think so.
yeah, and I,
Thought they did a lot split there.
They wanted to
Long
split
time
it
ago?
back. They wanted, because that was probably one of the last industrial, parcels in Waterford. They didn't do it.
They didn't do it. I knew they were, I thought, I knew they were proposing a lot split. Since I've been in office, I know
Yeah.
that, but I don't know if they ever did it or not. Okay.
They got that pond in there, I mean, it's beautiful.
It is.
It's just a shame to see them.
But what's their membership? I imagine their membership's way down.
Going way,
It's
way
dropped, I
down
think
there.
it's over 1,000 people already dropped out.
You know, they said it's like any organization, Kiwanis, Optimus, Rotary, Elks, Moose.
Well, the thing is,
So
with
cheap.
them over there, they can't attract the younger generation.
They're not into that kind of stuff.
No, they're not into
None
that
of those
stuff at
service
all.
organizations are all dwindling,
You're right.
Yeah.
like you were saying.
They just started, there's people, they can do it on a phone now. They don't have to go out to a group and be sociable.
That's right.
I was at a thing for Eagle Scouts yesterday. They asked me to come and be the speaker there. And it's just like you said, it was great. These kids are taught on having to read compasses and do this and that for a whole week. Phones are gone, that's it.
Oh,
You're on your own.
Summer camp.
You're out. No, this is part of your training to become an Eagle Scout. You go on a worldwide tour, travel 105 miles in 5 days. And it's like I said, you're out packing it and you load the stuff up and you pack it and you set up camp at the end of the day. And like I said, you read a compass and you pay attention and you get on a lake and you go to the other side and it was pretty neat to hear it. And then the kids go to the range and they shoot real guns. They don't set in a machine, a video machine or that, or on their iPhone or on their iPad or on the television, saying they do real things, they take a pole and line and worms and go fishing, and it was neat to be around that. It was.
We were up at Picture Rocks this summer in the UP, and there's an island you can tour now called the Grand Island, and there is no service. Nothing. So if you want to bring your kids and drive them crazy. This is the place to vacation.
That's the best thing I see here. Up in America, my phone does not work up there. For a whole week it doesn't work. You shut it off, throw it in the glove box. Don wants to get a hold of me, that's what the landline is for at the motel. Call me there.
There's no landlines either.
Phone doesn't work up there. It's beautiful, it's a beautiful thing. And I survive every year, make it back.
You can
No
take
works
pictures
everywhere.
though.
You know what I've been wanting
You can.
to do? I've been wanting to spend an entire calendar year on Mackinac Island, to see all four seasons.
Oh, that would be pretty.
You're sure about that?
Yeah. You ever see that video called The Ice Bridge? It's a video of an entire year and what they showed, which goes on in the wintertime and everything. So I have a house with a big fireplace and a whole library full of books that would be happy.
Oh, you want to spend it inside, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
He's going to camp.
Okay, so, yeah, how we doing time-wise?
Now we got about 17 minutes.
Okay. Yeah, no, it's at that UP, they get some serious snowfall up there.
Yeah.
I'd like to see the Christmas tree they put in the middle of the street. I understand they do that.
Well, what's called the Ice Bridge is after Christmas, all the people live on the island, bring their Christmas trees and dump them in the middle of the town.
That's it.
And then once the ice gets frozen solid, then these guys with their snowmobiles, they go out and put a Christmas tree about every 100 yards,
So
maybe less, maybe every 50 yards. And they do it all the way over to St. Ignace so that people get on their snowmobiles and they go over to St. Ignace and get their groceries. And if those trees are there so that if it's
Those are
snowing,
way back.
they don't go way out in the middle of the snow.
Because it all doesn't freeze. They've got to
So
stay
then-
where it's safe
Right.
to ride.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
The bay up there.
And then in this video too, at St. Patrick's Day, they have a party, St. Patrick's Day party out in the middle of the Springs. There's still plenty of ice. They set up a tent, they have barbecues out there, and then all these people go out their snowmobiles and have a St. Patrick's Day party in the middle of the Springs.
So do those Christmas trees, do they ever pick them up or do they just go to the
No,
bottom?
once the ice melts, they
Just
just
go
go
to the
down
bottom.
in the water
Go
and
down.
compose.
As they say, the rest is history. Just like the
Right
tree
on.
limbs that blow off.
It
and fall in
doesn't
the
damage
lake.
line 5, does it, when they hit the bottom?
Oh, no, I don't think
Yeah, there's some interesting things going up there in the UP in the wintertime. Some interesting things.
so. When I came back from Vietnam, I had 30 days leave in December, and in January, I drove, my orders were KSR at Marquette. I drove up to Marquette in January of '68. Yeah, '68. And it was nighttime when I got across the bridge. Fortunately, when I was driving, there wasn't snow. You wouldn't believe how many deer I encountered on my way from the bridge all the way up to Marquette.
Oh, yeah, on the roadways, you know, because they can walk around there.
And I went from 97 degrees in Saigon to 200 inches of snow in Marquette.
What did you prefer?
I prefer the snow because it was home.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I was up there one time, we're up there deer hunting, and the guy says, that's one thing with you strolls, you know, he says, you down there, he says, you don't, I say, you know, what we call a foot of it, snow up here, he says, no, he says, a dusting. I says, really? He says, you know, what we call 2 foot of snow, he goes, no, it's a flurry. Okay, that's like, when it
Oh, I
snows
know.
up there.
You know, cars up there, I don't know if they still do, they used to put the old 76 balls
Yes.
on their
On the
antenna.
antenna, put the antenna.